in downtown Syracuse. Before that, we started at Safe Space, which was right around the corner. But we just got a new home. Next month will be our first session in the Palace Theater in Eastwood. So we're very excited to have the Palace Theater. So, but once a year since we started, thanks to Jeremy Gerlich, who's in the back there. Big round of applause for Jeremy. And Andy Schlenker as well. They've welcomed us to American High every year. First as a tour. Last year we had our actors panel here, which many of you were here for that. That was a lot of fun. And our first annual lip sync battle. And today I'm gonna stop talking in a moment. We have our directors panel and second annual lip sync battle. We couldn't be more excited. I'm gonna hand off the microphone to a friend of mine. Dan Dale and I met many years ago. We became good friends over coffee and networking at different business events when I was in marketing, and he was a financial advisor. He was my first financial advisor, so I'll blame him. No, that was a joke, but anyway. So Dan has been such a great dude. He's just one of the nicest guys you can meet, but his passion, just like my passion was to be an actor and make films, his passion was to be a master of ceremonies, a public speaker, a main event speaker for conferences and things like that, and announcer for sports as well, which he's done all of those things, and I've cast him in my movies as an announcer, as a master of ceremonies, and many other things. So without further ado, big round of applause for the Dan Dale.
All right, thank you, Joe. Thank you. As Joe said, I am the Dan Dallin, a positive influence, and I love crowds, a microphone, and people, and I'm one happy boy. So, I do corporate events. I speak to schools, high schools, elementary schools, medical facilities, all about how to bring happiness and joy into your everyday life and to continue spreading it. They just won't stop listening. So now, I have notes provided by Joe, so I do need my glasses because I'm older than Joe. First off, important things, emergency exits. In case of an emergency, please leave. Bathrooms, men's room is out and to your left, women's room is out and to your right, or if you go the wrong way, just assign a different gender once you get there. Snacks and water located out in the lobby. Please write your name on your water bottle or write somebody else's name if you want to share in that way. So other than that, I am pleased and thrilled to be helping to MC this year's event. Last year was a terrific time. Tonight is going to be even more informative and even more fun. So let's get things started. Oh, I was supposed to go through that schedule. We're about to get things started. After the director's panel, we'll have a Q&A session. Immediately following, we're going to have a group photo of everybody up here in front of the stage. On the stage, we'll figure it all out. And then our lip sync battle, our award ceremony, followed by announcements, and a SAS meeting would not be complete if we didn't have After Hours with Jay Morante. Be sure to subscribe to Jay Morante Comedy on YouTube. While you're on YouTube, check out the Dan Dallin, a positive influence. You know what? You should do that now. Take out your phone, go to YouTube, subscribe to Jay, subscribe to me. We are always collecting donations. Tonight's donations are all going to American High. So if you wouldn't mind taking a picture of the front and back of your favorite credit card and sending it to us, we'll take care of that as well. It's the Academy at American High, and we'll learn about that shortly. So remember, donate, important. Okay, now, there I am. Let's move on to this evening's first event, the Directors Panel. Our first director is a filmmaker, a writer, and entrepreneur reinventing Hollywood comedy with brains, heart, and a big set of balls. Let's hear it for Jeremy Gerlich. Jeremy has written or directed The Breakup, The Wedding Ringer, The Binge, Murder Mystery 2, and the upcoming Rolling Loud, starring Owen Wilson, Matt Rife, and Travis Scott. In 2017, yeah, absolutely. In 2017, Jeremy founded American High, turning this abandoned high school into a teen comedy powerhouse that has produced over 20 films since its inception, and has also launched a virtual digital network with over 11 million followers and 8 billion views, just like Jay Morante's comedy channel. Last year, American High won the Weddy People's Voice Award for Best Social Media Comedy and YouTube's Gold and Silver Creator Awards. Named one of Hollywood Reporter's top innovators and winner of the 2023 Steam Company of the Year Award, Gerlich also founded, and I think this is super important this time of age, the Academy at American High to champion ethical AI and prove that technology shouldn't replace storytellers, it should supercharge them. Jeremy Gerlich. He had too many cool things. He didn't come up early. He just do so many good stuff. Our next director, John Ginty. John is a director with deep-seated reverence for the technical craft of cinema. John brings a holistic understanding of the production process to the helm. He approaches directing with a story-first mentality. Whether navigating the complexities of pre-production for his latest project, 10 Bell, or exploring the evolving landscape of independent cinema, Ginty's voice is one of focused intention and cinematic grit. Currently in development for the feature 10 Bell, he continues to advocate a cinematic style that balances technical precision with raw improvisational energy. Mr. John Ginty. Our next director is an acclaimed filmmaker, writer, and creative executive who has produced award-winning campaigns and impactful narratives across film, television, and advertising. Michael Flores has helmed numerous short films, music videos, and ad campaigns that have garnered attention for his emotionally charged, visually arresting style and commitment to telling stories of underrepresented voices and lived experiences. Her Fight, His Name, the story of Gwen Carr and Eric Garner, is a documentary produced by Flores featuring the voice and vision of Gwen Carr, the mother of Eric Garner. Screened at the African Filmmakers Pavilion at the 2025 Cannes Film Festival and has won 3 New York Emmy Awards. As a real-life public school teacher, Flores also draws from his experience in the classroom to weave an authentic, intimate, and poetic film fusing cultural exploration with spiritual healing in Dogs on the Sendero, his feature film debut and most personal film to date. Dogs on the Sendero has won nearly 20 awards through a very successful film festival run. I introduce to you Mr. Michael Flores. All right, our next director, Nicole Cavallaro, is a multidisciplinary artist, writer, and emerging filmmaker whose work is informed by a background in performance, psychology, and visual storytelling. She might be the smartest person up here with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. She began her career working professionally as on-camera talent in editorial print and television commercials throughout upstate New York and was later cast in the independent feature Sophomore in 2012, starring alongside Amanda Plummer and Patrick Warburton. I thought about imitating his voice, but I am just not putty. But I am willing to redo Soaring at Epcot. Anyway, alongside her creative work, Nicole spent much of her professional life in the mental health field, experience that deeply informs her writing and directorial perspective. In 2024, she wrote her first short film, It's Me Again, completed production in 2025 and is preparing for its screening at SAS Fest on Sunday, April 19th at the Palace Theater. Make sure you're there. It is Nicole Caballero. All right, and our final director is a writer, actor, and filmmaker. He's the creator and titular character of the Trent Lockwood Adventures, a silent film series blending globe-trotting adventure with Chaplin-esque humor, the first episode of which won the Judges Award at the Syracuse International Film Festival. The fifth and latest episode of the series will premiere this year at a local venue along with all previous episodes. I am looking forward to that. James Marlowe is a talented photographer and cinematographer, aiding his enjoyment in purely visual storytelling. His other endeavors include a principal role in an upcoming and locally produced Spider-Man fan film and a Trent Lockwood Adventures comic book adaptation. It's my pleasure to introduce James Marlowe. And moderating the directors panel this evening is Aaron Williams, a writer-director based in Syracuse, New York. He's been involved with several local productions and is a proud advocate of SAS. He also encourages you to donate money into the hat in the lobby for the Academy at American High.
What does the hat look like?
The hat looks round and black. It's a hat. Or you can put it in a bucket, you can pile up all of your money here on stage, we'll collect it, it'll be okay. So Aaron is currently shopping 2 scripts and writing a biopic with an LA-based producer. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Aaron Williams.
So bachelor number 1. I don't know how to say. Is that me that keeps squeaking? I think you're squeaking. John, I think you're squeaking. There might be a mic under this, your seat.
I think I might have to lose like 20 pounds.
No, you look great to me.
Thank you. All right, can you hear me okay? No? Yes?
I hear you fine, yeah.
All right.
But I'm right next to you.
All right, it's great to see everybody. Great to see everybody out here tonight.
You want my mic?
Good to see everybody. Oh, that's better. Sure. I want to start off with just a little something about kind of the existing hellscape that we're all in this timeline. Yeah. We're good. All right. I guess I have kind of a deep feeling for Joe and Laura and all they've done for this SAS. We're out there, we see a lot of kind of hate and greed and grabbing and stacking of riches, but these guys are here just trying to do the right thing, uplift, make things good for people, and look what's happening. So, about a big hand. Okay, so we're going to start off with the start. I think that's a good place to begin. We all got all of our directors that got here from different paths. We have some that began as actors, some that began as crew, some that began in the mental health field. So let's start tonight with talking about how you got to be a director and what led you here today. And we'll start with John.
Oh. Wow, surprise, okay. My path was, like a lot of the people sitting out here today, I started as a comedian and as an actor. That was the pursuit the whole time. We're not gonna give the whole story, but really, I went out to LA and Denver, did stand-up out there for years. Was actually, in the year 2000, if there was video, I was the BET headliner in Denver, Colorado. Yeah, for the New Year's Eve. Worst experience of my life. Made me want to quit stand-up. So then I was like, that's not for me. When it did more acting, it was always, acting was the thing. But over time, what I realized was acting was just a conduit for telling stories. And the real joy that I got wasn't necessarily from portraying the characters, but creating the characters. So that kind of wove itself kind of naturally into the next step, which was writing, which then, literally what I did was I prayed about it. I was like, God, tell me what to do with this script because it's nonsense. And it was my first film, Good Villain. He was like, just make it. So I was like, all right, so I'm gonna make this movie. It was literally it's a Clerks ripoff, if we're real about it. And I actually ran it through AI recently just to like see what it would say about it. And it was like, you'll never be able to make this movie. It has too many copyright infringements. You'll never get away with it. It'll get scrubbed by lawyers. And I was like, oh, all right, great. But anyways, made that movie, loved it, loved the process. I tried acting in that movie, writing and directing that one and producing that one, because you know that's how you do your first film, right? Anybody out there? I know. And I was like, no, never again. We can't do that ever again. It's too much work. So then the next film we produced, I was like, I'm not going to be an actor, but then I was, cinematographer, director, writer, producer. I just let go of acting. That did nothing. So I was like, okay, next one we're going to do it for real. And I see some familiar faces out here, and I was like, we're going to pay people to do it. We're gonna actually do this legit. So then I went out, raised $100,000. Figured out what I was going to do for a film, and then went ahead and made the film, paid people, and only tried to produce, direct, and write, and it had people do all the other stuff, the important things like sound. So, it's see how important sound is? Amazing. Thank you guys. That was right on cue. We planned that earlier. But, and so that leads to the next one, which, that's always the kind of the evolution. You find out who you are through doing. You find out what you're good at through doing. So a lot of times we're scared of doing, we're scared of like, oh, maybe I want to do this, but what if I fail? What if you don't? So I'm a big advocate for trying new things, exploring new things, and doing new things, and that is how I ended up here as a director.
Today.
You want more?
That's great.
I can give more. I'm trying to be generous to the other actual directors on the panel here.
All right, let's talk to Michael.
What he said. Yeah, it was kind of a similar road. I started out as an actor when I was a much younger man. Ooh, not too hot. I honestly, it's kind of funny. The first time I stepped behind the camera was, I think I was like 18 years old, and I was a part of this acting competition. It was kind of like Star Search. You guys remember Star Search? Anybody that old? So it was, I was in Los Angeles, and I was a part of this competition, and they had a filmmaking component, like category, as part of the competition. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. What's that all about? And they're like, you want to sign up? Because nobody has yet. and they're like, we'll waive the fee, just come on in and just do what you can. And so I had to create a short film for the contest, and it's actually online right now. It's on YouTube. I just put it back up not too long ago. It's called Man, Have I Got a Story for You. It's very silly, but I just grabbed a camcorder, I wrote a script, and I cast my most silly, charismatic friends in the roles. And I won by default because my media was the only one that they could watch. I turned in a VHS tape too. That's how old I am. So everyone else was trying, these newfangled DVDs and CDs, and the judges couldn't watch them. They didn't read, they didn't author them properly, so they couldn't read them. So yeah, I won the contest. And then,
When was this? When was that?
oh boy, it was like it had to be 2000 or yeah, like, yeah. But it was I had so much fun doing it, and I realized that there was more to this, visual storytelling that I wanted to explore. And from there, I went to film school and learned a lot of what not to do. And I just kept experimenting, just kept doing more, always trying to do something. And now we're here.
That's great. Jeremy, maybe you'll get your big break someday. Do you want to talk about it?
What'd you say?
Maybe you'll get your big break someday. Maybe you'll get your big break someday.
Oh, God. So hi, I'm Jeremy. First of all, I want to thank you for doing this and just also give a shout out to Laura and Joe. You guys have done an incredible job. Just to look out and see this crowd I remember Joey coming to talk to me a couple of years ago and saying, you have this idea, and I was like, sure, it sounds great. So you should all give yourselves a round of applause for being part of it. And I really, we've done a lot of stuff here. We've made a lot of films here, and I see a lot of familiar faces. And if there's an opportunity for background or for lines and auditions, we are going to come to SAS first, and I want to thank you all for doing what you're doing. So it's awesome. What was the question?
How'd you get here?
How did I get here?
How'd you get here?
Like tonight, or I always did whatever I could do to make people laugh for attention. I had two older sisters who were always talking, and in my family, like you had to just like wait for that right moment. So everything you said had to be like perfectly timed, or else. And if you got a laugh, then you could kind of speak again at some point. So my whole life was always just about trying to make people laugh. And I was handed a video camera when I was, probably in 6th or 7th grade, and I started just filming everything. Oh, nice, good job. All done.
I got you.
So it was about 6th, 7th grade. No? One more time? Take 2 on that? With movies, you get to test the audience, right? You get to try different jokes. You take 6 different takes of them, and then you watch them, and then you put them in front of audiences. If they laugh, you're like, great, that'll work. If they don't laugh, you're like, let's try another one. You put it in another. When you're live, you can make, it's terrible jokes, and just immediately there's no feedback. You're like, okay, whatever. That would be really funny, but take 6 or 7. Okay, so, all right, thank you. I appreciate that. What was your question? So I was given a video camera, right? And I realized that I could record, I realized I could actually like record things that were funny and then play them back again and get attention. And I started doing that, and then somebody taught me how to like actually cut on the VHS. It was on an old VHS machine. So I just suddenly got obsessed with like finding the joke, and I just did that. I just did it forever, and I never knew that you could make a living out of it. Nobody I knew was in the movie business or had any connection. I grew up in a town very much like this town, where the idea of going to Hollywood and doing something in movies, it's not even like a thought, And then when I was in college, it was my sophomore year. I got back to college, and I worked. After my freshman summer, I did construction, and I was an ice cream man. And I got back to college, and everyone was telling me about this, like whatever incredible internships they did over the summers, and they did this and they did that, and all things that were like outside of my like frame of reference until I got back, and I'm like, well, what do I love? Everybody's doing these things that they love, and I was like, I love movies. So I basically did everything I possibly can to find somebody who had a connection to something in Los Angeles, and I sent my resume, I got on the phone, saved everything I could, and I drove out to LA, and I did my first summer, and then I was hooked. And so that was how I got involved. From there to here, we're not gonna have time, but I'll pass it on.
That's a good start. That's great. Thank you. Nicole.
Hello. It's, so how did I get here?
How'd you get here?
Okay. Well, aside from the bio that you know, I can't, those are hard stories to follow behind. They're so cool. But I'm not, that's okay. I went to school for art in my undergrad, and when I was a little girl, I loved to write stories and draw everything art. Also, in the late 80s and 90s, I loved horror movies. My mother did not let me watch them. I don't know if you're familiar, well, obviously with Wegmans when they had their VHS section. Remember that? Yeah. She was always like, you guys can go pick out a movie, and I was always in the horror section, and she was like, Nikki, there's something wrong with you. So I didn't get to watch, I think she was like, all right, fine. So my first movie was, I swear to God, if someone knows this movie, you're gonna be so impressive to me. Mary Lou Prom Night 2. Does anybody know that movie? That was my, thank you. That was my, it's a terrible but amazing movie. It's crazy, no, let me tell you, it's an 80s horror niche thing. It's amazing, but anyways, from there, college, and then life stuff, graduate school, did the whole modeling acting thing. It was interesting. There's actually one of my first, there he is, Simon Mink. He was the first cameraman for the movie I was in. And after that, it was, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm kind of into writing still. Kind of set that back for grad school, finished, gosh, came here, and I was like, I think I want to make a short film. I don't know, where did that come from? I did not have a film background. I have a very heavy arts background, theory, music theory, things like that. So it helps me very visually figure out what I want to see in the frame. I'm very obsessed with that. Things just look good to me when it's, kind of done my way. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. And then when I was, teenager, I'd always read Kubrick and Hitchcock. Those are my favorite directors. Those books were just addicting for me to read on angles of camera. So the more I kind of dove into that tech part, now that I'm older, I'm like, I'm a little late, but that's such a good challenge to have now. So
never too late.
That's kind of, thank you.
When did you get started?
I wrote my first short in 2024. Actually, Joe and I met 10 years ago. We've been talking about making our own stuff. So it was kind of cooking, I guess. And when you think about things, you just don't know. And then I just kind of did it. I wrote it in 20 minutes, and it was exactly. I got to tell you, there's an awesome story. It had to have a payphone in it. It had to. There was no way I wasn't going to make it unless there was a payphone in it, and there were no payphones around here. Joe found one, though. I don't know where he is. We did this whole Excel sheet. He found one payphone in Syracuse. So James, myself, and Joe went to see it in the winter, and it was just lonely and sad. I was like, that's it. That's the one we're going to use. It was disgusting. The area was gross. I'm like, we're going to die, but it's okay. So we finished everything. We started filming in spring.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. We went to the phone booth. Someone destroyed it. I was like, mother. So I was like, what are we going to do? So the three of us are like, let's take a rotary phone and tape it and have a receiver. I'm like, that's going to look really lame. So we can't do it. So we're looking for a phone booth that day, and we're driving through Liverpool. I don't know what happened with my eye vision, which is terrible. We're driving in the village. For some reason, I look to my left at that Sunoco station. There's a freaking payphone right there. We filmed it in 4 months, and it's actually not there anymore. They just removed it 2 months ago. So that's the story of my first film, and it's my baby, and that's how I got here. Sunoco parking lot.
No, exactly.
I guess we have one person left to ask this question.
I think it all started in my high school German class. We had all these various video projects to do. So all my first films were in German, of course. But yeah, it was just so much fun. And then my senior year, I ended up making this German James Bond film. I was James Bond Meister, of course. It was like half an hour long, and then I saw my German teacher years later. And she's like, yeah, I still show that to the students just to show them, what you can aspire to do as a final project. Okay, I did something right. And then, after that, I transitioned to films in English, and as you would. And of course, now I make silent films, so there's no language at all. But that came about because I had the idea for the character I play, Trent Lockwood, for quite a while. But it was during the quarantine in 2020 when I'm just like, okay, I can't film with anyone. I have to do this all by myself. So what can I do to simplify things? So I got rid of the sound, no editing sound, much easier that way. Got rid of the color, no color correcting, so silent, black and white, and then I just enjoyed doing it so much. And the fact that it somehow won an award at the Syracuse Film Festival, which still don't really know why they gave it to me, but that's fine. And then I was like, okay, I'm doing something right, so I just kept going on with that. So now we're working on the fifth film will be coming out hopefully this summer.
I think your German teacher was on the panel that decided that.
I think so.
That's how you won that.
Must have been.
That's great.
Mint out sound. You're German to
right, yeah.
nobody else. Silent film. German.
Any response here?
So we move on from that one.
Yeah, let's see.
All right.
Let's just cut that one. Let's try it all.
I thought that was good.
It was clever. It was definitely clever.
Okay.
All right, so this is going to be a two-parter for each of you. And I want you to tell me
I have a hard enough time with one question.
what
So we have
film...
a pen or a pencil. You can write this
Easy.
down.
It's easy. What film made you want to direct, and what film makes you want to quit? Besides Mary Lou 2, Electric Boogaloo? Whatever that was.
Electric Boogaloo.
Telling you.
Let's start with James.
Makes me want to direct, I'll go with, might as well go with Raiders of the Lost Ark. Gotta pick an Indiana Jones. Makes me want to give up.
It's too good. Like, you can never,
Oh, it's
you
too
can never
good.
achieve
Okay.
that.
Then also Raiders of the Lost Ark. There, boom. I guess I didn't understand.
Let's try to have two answers together. John, how about you?
That had some German in it, didn't it?
A little bit. I think they had some armbands on.
I'm not doing that. I'm not touching that right now. For me, it's kind of split because, as we grow, there are moments that become core memories and things that we kind of hold on to and still aspire to regardless. Like there's that film you can still go back to, even though it's 40 years old. And for me, that one is the Batman. The first, actually not the Batman, but Batman. The Michael Keaton version from 1989. That one, it just... When I saw that in theaters, it was an experience for me, and I can still remember sitting there and feeling as the camera moved through the bat symbol. How did that? And that was the first time in my life I ever went, how did they do that? And I guess that's kind of the germination of that process of, okay, how do we make something happen? Okay, I see something that I want to have on the screen in my head, but how do I actually make that happen? And that was kind of that first moment. But I think the film that makes me, there's just so many. What about anything that Guillermo del Toro has ever done? How about that? Because there is, what's his newest one? Frankenstein? I'm sitting there and I'm watching this movie and I'm like, no, never. I'm literally, this is the thoughts that's going through my head as I'm watching this film. There's no way I'm never achieving that level of like cinematic brilliance. Why am I even trying? But then as much as, and this is probably for everybody up here, as much as we try to go, maybe this isn't for me, because you've had those setbacks, you've had those letdowns, you've had those moments where it's like, this just isn't working. They don't like me enough. I don't like me enough. The art form itself always pulls you back. No matter what, no matter how much our own ego is deflated by things, there's always a moment of, wow, I'll never do that, but I know I can do something cool.
That's a good answer. Nicole?
The first one would be, gosh, I just lost my thought. The Shining for my first
Oh.
one.
Nice.
Yep.
Your mom didn't let you watch that, though, did she?
Nope. Nothing. And the second one would be Terminator 2.
Oh.
Because, I don't know, that is ahead of its time. I loved it, loved the soundtrack, I love the visuals and just the storyline. That's a very hard question, so.
That's why I'm here. Jeremy.
It's hard. You guys all picked like really high, like bar ones. I'm thinking like a Weekend at Bernie's too. I'm like, I could kind of do that, I guess. You know, like The Shining. That's a great movie. Like,
Aim low, guys, aim low.
yeah, it's just, you guys got Kubrick and the Batman and wow, yeah, all of those movies were awesome. It's hard. Speaking of the Batman, one of my first jobs, I worked for Joel Schumacher. I was his assistant, and he's credited for ruining the Batman series.
Okay, so let me say this, because I have to defend Joel Schumacher right now and Batman Forever. I just showed that to my kids literally 3 days ago, and they all absolutely loved it. There was something, and I challenge anybody to go back and watch Batman Forever, because the things that he did in that movie were very purposeful. It wasn't until Batman and Robin that it went off the rails. But with Batman Forever, that was cinematic brilliance. Period.
Continue. You heard that, Joel. You heard it. Another round of applause for Joel. Thank you. Yeah, so it's tough. My first job working for him, I worked on a movie called Tigerland with Colin Farrell and Cole Hauser and Matt Davis, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't know I wanted to be a director until it literally was my first day on set with standing next to Joel and like holding his water and his peanuts and I realized on day one, I was like, this is what I want. Like, this is what I want to do, and it was from that moment that was the movie that my very first time on set. That was the movie that made me feel like I could do it and want to do it. And then the very last movie I just did was the movie that made me want to never do it again. But I think you kind of feel that kind of on every time you go through it. It's just as soon as you're done, you're just depleted and you're just like, how, but there are those moments of inspiration that is probably, Nicole was talking about the phone booth. I actually that was my second movie working for Joel. It was called Phone Booth. It was all about a phone booth. He was stuck in a phone booth with Colin Farrell, a red sniper on, and it was funny when you brought up the phone booth. It was like sort of towards the end of the phone booth situation. We had to rewrite the script to make it the last. So if you watch the movie, it's like the last phone booth in New York. So it was somewhat symbolic. But I don't know what I was saying. But I was saying, your story was so inspiring, and I'm sure every single person who's ever made a film has a similar story of like something that's absolutely effing impossible that should not go right, and you and a group of people on your team go to such extremes to the point, I think, Nicole, just to quote you, I think you said, I was willing to die to get this done. And I think you said, did she say that? Can we have the court reporter read back what Nicole said? I believe you said, I didn't care if I died, I was going to get this done.
Wow. Yikes.
But I think it hit me when you said that, because every filmmaker knows that feeling.
Oh yeah, I did say that.
Get the shot.
And you to the point where I've been numerous times, I've been willing to get arrested, I've been willing to die, like I don't care, as long if I go down, get this shot.
Yep.
No, that's good to hear, because I was laying down to get the Kubrick shot, one of the Kubrick shots. I was laying down. What was my problem? I was laying down under this gross, tetanus-ridden thing. Joe was right here above me. I'm laying there. I'm like, do it again! And it's like starting to rain. And I'm like, am I supposed to be here? I'm gonna catch something on this pavement. I am. And then it was like cut, do it again. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. But it was, but you're right. I'm glad you said that. That moment is validating to me because, you know, when you feel it, you just feel it in your blood. That's it. You know, you're supposed to be there. So, thank you. All right.
Michael.
Yeah, that's a tough question to answer. I don't want to say I was kind of thrust into the role of being a director. It's kind of that moment where you realize I'm making this sound more, grand than it is, but I kind of had to become a leader because it was needed at the time. I didn't necessarily know that's what I was going to do, but I needed to step into that role to actually get these stories made. So I guess The Binge would be a good answer. Honestly, whether this man knows it or not, Mr. Garelick is really kind of responsible for the second half of my career here because of this amazing studio that he has brought to Syracuse. I've worked on like 10 or 11 of your movies now. And it was actually on The Binge, the film that he directed, where I reunited with John McGinty, who was the gaffer on that film. And the funny thing is John and I had met years earlier and forgot, didn't know it.
No relation.
No relation, no.
No relation. So I'm John
McGinty.
Ginty. That's John
my
McGinty.
director of photography is John.
So I'm sitting here and I felt some of their brains turning for a moment.
Sorry, yeah, I should have clarified. But you know, John and I had actually worked on 2 other films together, and we had no idea. And that can happen because, you know, the bigger the vehicle, you know, the more people that are involved. And we were in 2 different departments, and I was working underneath him on The Binge as a electrician, and I knew there was something very familiar about him, but I was like, gosh, do we know each other? And it was when we were shooting the second half of the cow scene, so behind the soundstage there. And for those of you who are not familiar with filmmaking, there's a lot of hurry up and wait. And so, you do your job as quickly as humanly possible, and, you know, we get our lights set and everything's ready to go, and then you just wait for the scene to be shot. And, you know, before smartphones, you had a book or something to read, but, you know, we were on opposite sides of the location, and, when you meet new people, you look them up on IMDb and stuff like that. And IMDb used to do this really cool thing. I don't know if it does it anymore. It did like a 6 degrees of separation. And so I'm looking up John, and it tells me, you've done 2 films together. I'm like, what? We have? And then you yell cut, or AD yells cut, and somebody did. And we band together to start, tearing things down. And he looks at me, he goes, we did 2 movies together? He was doing the same thing on the other side of the location. But from there, he's become my best friend, and we kind of formed a kinship, and really, this is kind of, we're like bound at the hip now. We decided we're, going to continue to make movies together forever. But, that wouldn't have happened if it weren't for Jeremy. Honestly, wouldn't. So yeah, I'm gonna pick The Binge. And the movie that made me want to quit, there isn't one. I'm never gonna quit. That's just, it's not in the vocabulary. It's not
Wow! Good answer!
I thought you were going to tell that story on The Binge where that night was the night that we had to, is that the night where the cow had to perform for us? Or no?
No, we had a fake cow.
Oh, it was a fake. Oh, okay. Yes, okay, that was the, all right. And I won't tell it. I thought it was the story where the cow would not move. The cow was supposed to run, and we didn't realize that cows don't run.
Maybe we did, yeah.
So I was like running around like just trying to here cow, like, come on, run, come, and trying to get this cow to chase me, and it
You
would
did
not
look like a
do it.
lunatic.
Because I'm sure at the same time you guys had like the animal protection people watching you very closely.
Yeah, well, we weren't doing anything wrong. I was just trying to get the cow to run to me. We were like, and to get that shot, but it was one of those, we finally got it, and it was similar to Nicole, like, we just have to get this shot, you know, because it doesn't matter what's, you know, anything you need to do to get it done, you know. But
It was freezing too, and he was out there, and you were like in a t-shirt because you were like, I'm hot, I gotta keep running.
All right, so I have a process question, because I'm kind of a process nerd. So someone like Paul Thomas Anderson is known to work with his actors really closely, and someone like Fincher is known to have to control every element of it. Where do you guys fall in terms of how you react with your actors? You make them stick to the words, you let them improv, etc. Talk a little bit about your process.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll do one. Start with Michael.
Oh, okay. I have been incredibly fortunate with the talent I've been able to cast, particularly with Dogs on the Sendero, because I was acting as the lead as well. And so, you know, it's a pretty big, major undertaking, trying to be on both sides of the camera at once. But, you know, thankfully I had an incredible crew that I could rely on. And I figured out a formula very early on. I don't know if Laura actually realizes this or not. Basically, you know, I was doing multiple jobs. I was my own AD, you know, trying to direct the film. It was incredibly low budget, so, and that's, you know, you just gotta wear many hats. And my crew came on knowing the exact same thing, so. Honestly, the best sound that we got in the entire film was done by our hair and makeup girl. She was incredible. I gave her a master class like the day before, and then she hopped on it the next day. But yeah, but my actors, they have one job. That's it. I wasn't asking anything else of them because their performance matters. And
did they have to do their own makeup?
no, I don't think so. Did you have to do your own makeup? You did?
Yeah.
Well, she came camera ready.
Makeup
She
person
ready
was
to
doing
go.
her sound. What do you mean?
Yeah, I think it wasn't that day.
So there was a boom mic trainer.
But I realized that the process I needed to go through, because all of my actors, they did that one job very well. They all came prepared. They had all studied the character. They all came with something, and that every performance was completely different than what I had envisioned, completely different from their auditions in a magical way. In an